If there's anything I love more than a challenge, it'd be being a person. 'Cause being a person is cool too. Anyways, if you know, there are many challenges out there that have the title probably prompted, can I beat this game in under fucking pieces of poo? And pretty much your answer would be, I don't know. Can you? Is it possible? Is it doable? Well, my friend, let me tell you that this challenge is definitely doable. But is it doable for me? Am I able to adapt as a very new player to this franchise? I mean, like, this is my first game in the series and whatnot. Can I beat Street Fighter 6 on classic controls? In this case, can I beat the World Tour mode on classic controls? The whole entirety of it. Well, Chapter 1 forces you off of classic controls, so you have to swap it after Chapter 1, but pretty much from any point of Chapter 6, or Chapter 6, of any point after Chapter 1, from Chapter 2 to Chapter 15, can I beat Street Fighter 6? Let's figure out that answer. Now, if I could get your attention, pretty much, if you know what World Tour mode is, World Tour is the single player campaign mode that allows you to customize your own character and find out what is strength. You can go and find masters and stuff in this game, and you can pretty much play it, and you can pretty much fight people down the alleyway, down the street, mug someone. That last part isn't true, but you can do whatever, you know. And as well, you can also play the story as well, the side quests. World Tour mode is our story mode of this game. And pretty much, if I were to try to beat the game, as in get to, like, let's say mastering classic controls, that would probably not happen, because that would take a lot of work. A lot. So, and obviously since I'm playing this game on PlayStation, so upgrading this, so this video is probably going to be really difficult to make. I do not have PlayStation Plus, so for now I'm limited to World Tour and fighting CPUs in the fighting ground mode, which is not the greatest thing you can be pitted with, but hey, it's whatever. As long as it keeps me sane enough before I have to get rebirth myself. Let's enjoy this while we can. Let's do it. Alright, big money, big money. Oh, female, the female. So the next thing is to go and create my character. We're tasked with making a female character, so we will be journeying across deciding what I would want to do. Pretty much every character that I create in case of this challenge and future challenges, I will put work into it. I will not make them look like humanoid abominations, because that's really weird and stuff. Unless I want to be blank and just go for the preset characters instead, which I don't want to do either. I'm pretty much here to create my character from the start to finish, and yeah, that'll be our tasking character. I have beaten this game twice on World Tour mode with 2 different accounts, since you cannot have a character saved, nor can you get New Game Plus, so I'm pretty whack right there right now. But hopefully we'll get something in the future to discuss that. I would like a New Game Plus in case if I wanted to go through jury style for pretty much an entire playthrough and whatnot. See how far I can go through. So yeah, this is our first start within classic mode. We start by meeting Luke. He is our instructor and will teach us how to walk. And pretty much this is your set master for a part of the game. He helps guide you towards this, and he will pretty much be your companion guiding you while he's staying at his own area. Luke's pretty cool though, on the other hand, and he is he's one of the more simple characters to learn their setup. He is probably also one of the better characters to learn all the classic controls compared to modern controls. Definitely works out in my favor in case I want to use Luke in this run. Overall, he will be our mentor. Next, we'll go over modern controls. Modern controls are basic form. Of course though, since we're playing classic controls, I'm immediately switching off modern controls after the first chapter, since I am locked into modern controls for the first chapter. Anyways, this is still a good guide and prep on how to play the game. Next, we would end up meeting another character by the name of Bosch. He comes diving at us with a kick, Luke pushes us off, and we would engage a battle with him. I'd have cut the battle though, because yet again, modern controls, and and obviously our battle with Bosch will be for another time. Next up, we go to Metro City with Bosch, our pal and tag friend. Probably in the case of things, I'm going to probably split this between me talking and me putting in captions, since there's not a lot for me to talk about during certain points, or just the fact that there's not enough of me to talk throughout. But Luke will give us the word. We're gonna take his guidance and pretty much explore around Beat Square, which is pretty much just Times Square. So yeah, we'll learn with whatever. Pretty much, like I said, most of this, or much of this, will also be captions and whatnot outside of me talking. I'll try to talk during the most important parts, but yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Next we'll meet Alice. Alice will be our guide and tutor alongside a few others that will help us learn how to play the game. Unfortunately, Alex does have a problem that I come up later across the game that I cannot complete due to modern controls. Next up, we come across the street that Luke orders us to reach, pretty much to explore, I guess. You know, look at the Master's Foundational building, that parking lot, that construction site, wherever we want to go, you know. A perfect area, of course. But then two people come straight at us with cardboard boxes, and now we gotta fight them because they want to fight us no matter what. Yeah, pretty much beat their asses. But as it turns out, they knew this all along, and now they are here alongside Alice. Yes, Alice. Pretty much Alice's brothers are Tracy and Ryan. They will also help us around, give us tutorials of the World Tour mode, and teach us much more about the game at its own. Next up, we'll meet Luke again. Luke is out here pretty much seeing how we are doing, you know, doubting the wisdom of Luke Sensei. No, but Bosch maybe. So, what's left? Well, what is next? Oh, we're gonna fight him? Oh boy, I can't wait! So the nature of the situation is that Luke is really damn strong. At level 10 nonetheless against me, a level 2 and Bosch a level 1. Yeah, I don't think we were winning that. Luke gives us this neat little speech to, you know, motivate us that we can go in with the confidence that we owed from just simply walking around, having pizza, fighting people on the streets. All that lovely stuff, you know, getting the drip, enjoying ourselves in this lovely town of Metro City. Luke's a cool dude. I like him, and definitely would owe him to be my master and whatnot. Don't assume otherwise, like master as in, you know, mentor. God, it's really hard to say that word. Boom! Enrolled! Later down the road, we end up meeting Chun-Li and her student Li Fen. Li Fen has a PC and is probably Chun-Li's best student, since I believe Li Fen is adopted. Of course, we meet Chun-Li. This is where the master system comes in. Outside of Luke, we also can become students of other characters in this game. And Chun-Li is one of the 2 starters alongside Luke. I'll let the cutscene play out for you. Next up is this mini game, pretty much. After our epic fail, we are still Chun-Li's student now, and pretty much these mini games are going to help me out try to get more familiar with the classic controls. As you can tell, I am not doing a great job so far, with this being pretty much the start and my first time using classic controls. So here we go. We then have probably the most helpful mini game for me going down this challenge. I have Hotto Pizza here, and Hotto Pizza helps you put inputs pretty much to help you get used to the classic formula. This will come in handy a lot. This will be the only time I'll be recording Hotto Pizza, but let me assure you, this will be very useful. Here we are at Drippin' Style. This is where you get the hat initially to help further through the first chapter in the game. This place is very important to level up your stats and whatnot. Effectively, this is going to be very useful in the future, but also it's going to be here for my drip pretty much that I want to set my character alongside. I have no clue by this point of what style I want to use in this game. I have 2 completed, but I will not go down or say what 2 I have completed so far in World Tour mode.
I see.
Approach the Mad Gear turf and whatnot, and eventually we're here to introduce ourselves, but instead we get thrown into a battle with Mad Gear drums and other Mad Gear members of the team and whatnot that we have to fend off. After beating the asses of the Mad Gear crew, we end up bumping into Bosch. Bosch has a bag in his hands, but of course, before we can even fret to talk, we get more Mad Gear boots up on top of us. That sounded... Anyways, but yeah, Bosch fends off, we join in, but of course, we're not done yet. We've got a lot of baddies to destroy. Let's do it. At this point, I am still trying to get used to the classic controls. Effectively, pretty much, I'm kind of somewhat mashing it, but also pressing each of my buttons differently, trying to string in the normal attacks with the heavy attacks with the light attacks. Still, even though I'm doing rising uppercuts, I am still probably struggling to really get a rhythm with the classic controls. Me and Bosch kick their asses, but of course, there are more of them coming towards our trail, and there's more of them than there is of us. Another problem is that this chick comes along after they run off against Bosch and pretty much tells us that we need to get a bag for them. Problem is, getting that bag requires undermining Bosch, so we have to find another route. Another thing is that pretty much we're forced to do this because they'll make our lives a living hell, and we may not be able to deal with all of them in our lifetime before we're alive.
Huh?
Next, we must go to Rome or Italy to go and get a golden clasp. Pretty much, in order to now seal the leather down. Yeah, we need the golden clasp, and then we should be in the clear as long as there was nothing in the bag. We meet Marisa, one of the newest fighters, or pretty much one of the new fighters coming alongside the six. I'll get on to how cool Marisa is. Also, I skipped a cutscene, but don't worry. At some point now later down this channel, I may make another challenge, one that may center around the Masters. You'll just have to wait for that time to come. Marisa style is a ton of fun. You pretty much are a huge wrecking train of havoc with your fists and your feet. The only problem being that Marisa's dash and backdash are kind of and she doesn't have a great anti-air and whatnot, but pretty much on the ground, she's indestructible. Unfortunately, I have ran into an issue. This side quest I can no longer complete because of classic controls. I had to switch to modern controls, so we're not going to be able to get a really good pair of gloves from Alice. Womp womp. And so, pretty much, more on top of Marisa style, this is one of my 2 completed playstyles of the game. Marisa is a character you get really early on, and it is enjoyable playing her, as I've mentioned before. Of course, who I'm fighting for is for a quest line to go to Mexico. But pretty much, yeah. I am not going to be playing Marisa style for too long. I will eventually move on to another style.
Elder Singing Wolf is the pride of our tribe. Around here, he is the most respected of all shamans. Elder, it's Lily. Did you have something to say?
Really, this person is alive.
Hmm? Say what?
We are on an Indian. Read them well.
Evil best?
We bring the back to Alyssa, but unfortunately we're in a fight now, pretty much. I guess it wasn't good enough. Anyways, there's gonna be a lot of these guys around, but effectively it shouldn't be too bad around my level, being level 18. Maybe if you're around their level, it'll be a bit more difficult, but overall, I did not have that much of a difficult time with these guys. Unfortunately, even though we beat down the Mad Gear once again, we have failed to gain their trust, as effectively there was nothing in the bag. We're yet again called a dumbass from Alyssa herself, and we're still in hot shit. Pretty much, we do, however, meet another guy named Thunder Damned. He is the leader of the Mad Gear gang, and pretty much we're gonna be doing his things for a little while. By things, I mean his chores, and yeah, we're gonna be here for a bit under his law. And so, pretty much, we are now here with Thunder Damned. Effectively, he tells us about Bosch, of what he did over, and pretty much, since the deal was ruined, yeah, we are now asking what Thunder Damned needs, or more so, Thunder Damned is asking us what we need to do for him. Pretty much, he congratulates us for taking down his crew, but we gotta help him overlook a tournament thing that's been under threats over the time being. So, I guess we're doing some chore making, some chore running, all that biz.
Damn it!
We must go to England thanks to Luke's message to go and find Bosch. We find Bosch to try to hand him his ID card that he dropped on the ground, trying to also discuss what he's doing with that cash and where he is heading off with it. Things are cut short though because a certain character comes in the way, pretty much here to hunt down and bring Bosch to a certain group, pretty much to put Bosch through some certain trouble. Who could it be?
You must be Bosch. Saw your friends just now, but I don't think they're coming. They ran into something nasty on the way!
Jury beats Bosch down and pretty much now tries to insinuate a fight with Jury. We get tagged along and Jury kinda destroys us. I mean, effectively it's a battle you can't win because once you deplete her health bar down, it just ends there, and as if you did nothing to Jury. Though it makes sense for what it is. Jury thinks about killing us. I don't know how, but she is. But Bosch comes to the rescue and he accepts what Jury will, I guess, just take him away and do whatever she wants. I don't know. What the fuck does Jury do in her free time? After the ass beating from Jury, I go ahead to go and do some side quests before I embark on a journey for Luke to grab him some figurines or some souvenirs for the man himself. I am also here fighting Retsu as part of a big quest line. Well, not necessarily a big quest line, but it'll give us some good stuff. And because I don't need mana controls for his quest line, I can feel free to do whatever I can against him.
K with style. If you a dreamer, I'm a believer. Just keep it rocking and don't stop until your feet hurt.
We go and get Luke's souvenirs, and now he teaches us the power of drive impacts and drive parries. We also can do drive rushes, which will also be very useful. These are big game changers, obviously. Effectively, I will need to remember that I have access to these, because there are points where I definitely forget about them. But overall, these are very useful to have. Thanks, Luke.
Right.
So now I must go on the train station to go to the next tournament, the Novice Tournament League. Pretty much, the train here for the first time to get to the next side of Metro City isn't bad. But eventually, there will be a level spike which will make this a lot more difficult to deal with. And effectively, if you're a person without any projectiles, you will suffer here. We'll get onto this during another day, but yeah, I'll just keep the training as is.
Now then.
So next up, we go ahead to begin our first fight of the prelims. This guy is actually pretty difficult, let me tell you. He's got no utter style, but like he hits hard, you know. But effectively, I'm gonna try my best, you know. He's pretty difficult. I will not stoop to his level, and yeah, I will fuck him up. Which I totally am not doing right now. I'm totally not, you know, that should have been a lot of damage, but it wasn't. But hey, okay. Next up, we have Lisa. Lisa is our next opponent, and actively, she's the same as us, DJ, Master, and everything. But who's the better one? Well, this will decide our fate. Well, okay, it's not really fate, but pretty much it decides who's moving on and who is staying under. But yeah, here we are against Lisa. Ernest is the next fight that I take on, and the final one that I need to take in order to qualify for the Novice League. Pretty much, this entire fight isn't too bad either, and I didn't have a harder time with it than I did against Lisa. And effectively, Ernest kinda gets crapped on. However, kind of compared to Wyatt, who's confident about beating everyone, to make it, Ernest pretty much comments on how he would have made it if he managed to land these kicks.
Hey.
One of the steps in DJ's quest is to go to England and pick up a sheet of music, but on the way, I meet another character after completing a different side quest earlier in the game.
But not the one we're looking for.
I then come across two suspecting people, one by the name of Kalima and the other by the name of Riwansha. They don't tell your names yet till later, but I pretty much give them specifics and story isn't too much of our focus. I'm just putting in the points that I need to follow up with in my classic controls. Scrap Heap is a minigame that'll help me pretty much learn which inputs combo into one another, allowing me to chain them alongside Hotto Pizza, which will help me with the inputs that I need to get better at classic controls. We find Bao Bro, and pretty much we have to engage a fight with him while he uses the Jamie style. Jamie isn't a character we have occurred yet, but this thing uses it. I'm gonna say right now, the first time you fight this guy, yes, you fight him 2 times, he is not bad at all. But let me tell you, the foreshadowing of the second one can be pretty tough for people.
Arrow!
Oh, I missed!
It's time for the tournament. Now we're granted within this FoodTube advertisement from Eternity, and yeah, we're gonna be fighting 3 opponents here. Albeit, I can't say much more on the story since we're focused on the classic controls. So yeah, how did I do in the tournament with classic controls? Our first opponent is the name of Alan, and particularly my classic controls here did pretty well for me and fared well. Alan is easily the toughest one of these 3 because Alan continuously does the fucking Tatsumaki thing. He does it a lot, and he does Hadouken a lot, and I know you can block it, but effectively the AI like to mix up a lot that people don't point out as much. So be on the lookout for Alan, because he will mix it up. It's not too stupid.
Your life. KO!
Veronica is not too bad. Pretty much, she'll always jump ahead or probably try to chain her attacks as well, but she never really blocks and whatnot, which allows you to get a lot of open opportunities to pretty much punish her for anything. Pretty much moving, jumping, fucking attacking and stuff. As long as you just get art up her face and whatnot and just play aggressive, she will struggle.
Speed is there, but still anyone's game. Player 1 can't let this sit in there.
One of the final fights, or pretty much just the final fight, Riwansha. He is not bad for me. I have never really struggled with this guy, but people can struggle with him if you're not careful. He does do a lot of damage depending on what level you're at, and effectively Riwansha does the same thing. However, his one leaping attack that has a lot of super armor and whatnot, you can just block it and punish him immensely for it. Effectively, you will fight this guy during another time later on, and it'll be a lot harder, but I have not struggled with him at all during our first fight with him.
Zoning. Get some. Player 1 picks up the first. In there.
Unfortunately, the main tournament is cancelled, but effectively we still have an award ceremony for my character, Ada. Pretty much now, after completing the tournament, we move on to something else since the main tournament's been cancelled. But yeah, so far I've been doing fine on the classic controls. That last one was an overdrive, which I will point out that I didn't really know what to do, but at that point I somewhat mashed a button. I was really just expecting to do Sandblast, but probably pressed both my light and medium attack, which can connect to a overdrive. So pardon on that.
Well. Ah.
I get some new drip, and I play this next mini game, which is fucking whatever. It's about the basketballs. Effectively, this is great for parrying and whatnot, which you can use with drive parry. Of course, drive parrying and perfect parry is pretty difficult, and effectively, it'll be something to come along the way. Not too much of a focus, but I'll practice this mini game much more on later down the road.
Let him be.
Out of the way!
Collection of poison.
Safety first, bud.
You trip that alarm, and we're gonna have some words.
I'll be there.
Per protocol, the deck must be spotless at all times. Plus, my men are due back any time.
Then be brave. Yo, what the hell? Am I right?
Well...
Get back here!
Hey, that kid is nothing but a dirty little pickpocket.
He's lying! I would never do such a thing!
Oh, that's right.
Huh?
In game! Fight! Hey now.
Bring it!
So I infiltrate the crow's nest and have to go against many waves against people including a person named Chandi. Effectively, these are some of the most higher ups of the crows. But outside of that, we get Rudra, the crow's leader. And he is sending a rep in already, so effectively we're going to be going through a crew battle of sorts in order to decide who is the rep of Metro City going into the tournament.
Passing.
And stop calling me boss, okay, Jandy? It's Mr. Rudra.
Come the next minigame, which is Scrap Heap 2, pretty much another rendition of Scrap Heap, but this helps us in our favor since now finally we can go back to Pat Aimer, one of the subquests in the game that requires you to do all of the partours available in World Tour mode, and get our next prize, which is very valuable. Next up, we go ahead to now find our teammates and stuff. We encountered this one dude in a battle engage, but then this guy comes out of nowhere, hits him in the head. He gets knocked out because of that, and they don't look so good. Whether or not this could be Bosch or someone else, they clearly have this purple infestation towards them, which may be psychopower from what I believe. The cardboard combatant can definitely be a bit of a difficult fight. Albeit, you fight this guy probably a few times due to probably lore or story related things, and effectively the first fight is one of the harder ones. Pretty much he has this next neat little power to him, which is a big defense breaker thing that kind of sucks. He also anti-airs a lot, so jumping is kind of difficult. Sure, you can definitely still get some jumps over him and stuff, but he will counter, and unfortunately, if he anti-airs you, he also does a dive back, and pretty much he'll probably do quite some damage here. Effectively, you kind of want to play footsies with the AI, but you also want to probably space in towards doing some grabs, since this guy is kind of weak to grabs. Effectively, he will counter it by doing a throw escape, or you know, he can become susceptible to throw escape or to throw locks. But throw locks are boring and kind of lame. So, but do whatever you want to.
What's up?
Listen up, punk.
Before we can go and arrive at the crows, we must go and pretty much travel to meet up with everyone, but we have to go through tons of waves, and let me tell you that this can be annoying since you're sent very far away if you lose here and don't continue. Effectively, I don't continue since I need to level up for this next part, so yeah, there's a lot here. It's a long escapade of certain areas or buildings and stuff in this roof or nest and whatnot. Effectively, I said that a lot now, pretty much you have to climb towards and just fight all these waves. But it's fine. There's a lot of stuff here and treasure here that you can miss and whatnot, and you can always travel here too in the daytime after you complete this part of the quest. Of course, I was worried about this area because there's also a fight here that's really difficult if you're not prepared, you don't have the right stuff, and you may have to grind here if you come here during the under-level parts, so beware. This is definitely one of the more difficult parts, just because of the final fight in here. The teams are here. It is time to begin the crew battle team battle showdown. So, what is going to happen? Well, we're going to have 4 fights here, one for each of us against one of each of them, and let me tell you, this is one of the easiest / one of the hardest things in this game. You're going to be fighting Rudra since he anchors and since you're anchoring, so you're both the last fight. The other 3, however, it depends on how the AI battles. And so the first fight will be Besta versus Crow's Corbeo. Besta is a Zangief, and this is probably the easiest way for you to win the first battle. Besta just grabs Corbeo and does everything else. Yeah, I think, did he perfect here? No, he didn't perfect here. Aw, he also got drive impacted. Up, and then he got grabbed. Okay, the drive impact did not matter. The next battle is Lao Tang against Wuya. Wuya is a bit of a camper and whatnot. She consistently throws projectiles, and Lao Tang is a Chun-Li with 1 projectile. I don't think this is the worst one. Well, actually, well, yeah, I don't think it's the worst one. I haven't seen what Alyssa does. Violet is very good here. But yeah, Lao Ting approaches slowly and whatnot, so it takes him a bit. But Wuya is just a massive projectile camper and whatnot. Lao Ting struggles here because he has to approach, and Wuya just wants to play the camp game. So yeah, Wuya plays very passively. Lao Ting's more passive aggressive. But I believe in Lao Ting. He'll get the job done if he can approach, for the love of God. Okay, he gets approach. Oh, he gets a combo down. Ooh, he's got his punishes down. Okay. Damn. And just like that, Lao Ting beats Wuya. Alright, and our third fight is Thrasher Damned against Chandi. Let's just say Damned is really good against Chandi. But Chandi is kind of the same with a bit more aggressivity. Not as much, but still. She's much more tolerable than Wuya, but she's a big jump kicking person. And Thrasher Damned is a much more closer stuff. He throws wrenches too, but he's much more, I think, invigorated in just throwing out punches and kicks. And with that, Thrasher Damned does the best of the three. Now it's up to me to take down Rudra. The fight with Rudra is definitely one of the toughest fights in the game. Rudra is a Doll Sim style character, and it's likely your first or second time battling a Doll Sim, the other one being part of a side quest, unless you didn't do the side quest. And yeah, Rudra is mandatory, so yeah, prepare for a fight. I effectively had a really good run against him. Okay, that's not true. I've never really had a good, like, fight or, like, time. I guess in the sense, probably, like, a good, like, short time fighting him. In the case, my first playthrough took long because I consistently tried fighting him and whatnot and getting through. And then my second playthrough, I struggled way too much because I went into it probably at the lowest level I could be. Well, I guess I was over Rudra but by one level, but my stats were not very good, so I struggled. I had to go and grind a bit because the only other option was spamming, but I don't really like doing that. That was pretty much the flow that I had. So, going into this, I was a little worried, feeling that I still was probably not enough, but I did really well here for the third time. Probably the best I fought Rudra, and that makes me pretty happy because this fight is ridiculous. Fight's difficult, and he's not the last fight to be just, oh my gosh, I'm gonna beat your ass for a bit until you figure me out. But pretty much the best way to figure him out or play by is wait for him to do the fire attack up. The fire attack that he throws down is actually not too bad. You just gotta block it, and it also gives pressure time. Of course though, it pushes you away, so that's a bit difficult, and you could definitely throw in a fire in the air. He does move back a lot of the time because he's his owner, so he has to play that way. That's just the name of the game. And yeah, Rudra can be fun if you know what you're doing and you know how to counter him. And I did pretty well here against him. I yet again expected to do something else, but yeah, while it may look like I was doing bad, I'll probably cut, maybe splice some footage up since this was a more important battle and stuff than what others would think. So yeah.
What's the matter?
Well? Shucks.
Another note is the fact that we meet probably one of the last people or masters to meet before the end of the game, albeit she comes way later and whatnot. Jury. Jury, is an interesting story to tell y'all. That even though Jury is here and effectively she's one of my favorite styles to play, I won't be using her because I completed her on my second account. Yeah, so I will be ditching Jury for now. I'm gonna continue on with Cammy, but yeah, Jury's got probably one of the most fun playstyles I have messed with in this game so far. I actually, funny enough, don't know who to main yet, but yeah. Sorry. We meet up with Kamlima again, and including Rivancha too. They'll join in the cutscene in a bit. But pretty much, this is the resistance fight. we're not really respected to help them nor find Bosch for their fight. They don't tell us much about Bosch till way later into the game. But yeah, Kalima would rather we go and, I don't know, finger ourselves. But yeah, it's probably best that we don't listen to her since we're going into a tournament. So yeah, we're kind of in odds with the resistance from this point, but we'll see what happens. The tournament has begun. It is time for the Tournament of Outlaws. This tournament in particular, I'm gonna say, is the hardest tournament in World Tour. And for a few reasons. You don't have the most fights out of any of these tournaments, but man oh man, do I would say at least 3 of the 2 fights here are a bit ridiculous. Let's start with Sompong. Sompong is the first ridiculous fight of this game. He is a Chun-Li style fighter, and this was a bit torturous. He's not the only one that I worry about here, since there is another major one. Well, kind of like 2 of them, honestly. And yeah, Sompong is a lot about getting his combo strings, and about probably standing a distance if you stand your distance. I don't know how to get him into a throw lock because he jumps all the time. And he'll jump out of his corner since he has a wall jump. So yeah, probably best I can say is that pretty much always have your defense up and play passive aggressively. Don't try to grab walk because then he just gets out of the corner, but always read his wall jump up into the left or right side. He's also going to go for anti-air with his up special button, and he's always going to try to combo into the 1,000 kicks. This is the best way I can put it for this fight. So yeah, after the fight of Sompong, the ridiculously difficult fight, we have Kim. Unfortunately, this is kind of where I break, not in the sense of anguish, more so in the sense of just defeat. I don't know how to really consistently get Kim through without knowing he's going to grapple me or spin across the map. I know he's going to usually grapple or try to hit down, so I'm always blocking low. But I just struggle to try to adapt to the grabs and whatnot since he mixes up the opportunities. Of course, effectively, he's gonna usually do the helicopter move down towards the another grappler move, but he will try to grab lock you himself towards the corner, and that's ridiculous. So you pretty much have to throw escape or try jumping fast. Trying to combo him is difficult, he blocks a lot. Trying to grab him is difficult, he grabs a lot, so throw escapes are inevitable. Effectively, this is one of the most difficult fights in the game. I would definitely say one of the most, probably the top 3 difficult fights. Kim is a bastard alongside Sompong, marking for amongst 2 of the fights, which I already think this is the toughest tournament in the game. So I failed. I gave up the Tournament of the Outlaws because I was getting my ass whipped by Kim way too hard and I didn't figure out what to do. I just was not adapting. I was just plain sloppy. So instead I vouched to go back to Metro City to cool off for a bit. More so in-game cool off. My character was frustrated. And revert back time, since technically failing a tournament means that you can't participate anymore and someone else wins. So turning back time. Pretty much now I'm using a lot of my time to go and get stat points within the game. Stat boosters are major towards the end of the game, and you're pretty much going to want them. So I went on a big first grind, which, well, you guessed it, with the stat boosters. Next up is Hazel Cruz, and what Hazel Cruz's main gimmick is that if you continuously attack her while she's shielding, she will go for drive reversal. The best bet is to block this, but it turns out you can't drive impact it, which kind of sucks, but I guess it is a drive reversal, so I learned about that, and yeah. That's pretty much the whole gimmick behind her. She doesn't do much else. She doesn't do a lot of damage. She will anti-air, but she is easily the easiest one here. But she also is a steady place for the next difficult one awaiting us. Comes Joy, and here we go. This is the third difficult fight to go through. I initially wouldn't really talk much about Joy's difficulty if it weren't for the fact that this was the hardest time I've had with Joy so far. Maybe it was just the fact that Modern was carrying me during those last two times, but Joy kicked up the ante here, and how I usually felt about Joy. I didn't find her too bad. I pretty much have to warn you that pretty much the big thing with Joy is that she's really quick on getting in. She does main Kimberly after all, so pretty much you have to play really offensive or defensive depending on how your style is. So if your style is more defensive, play defensive. If your style is more offensive, play offensive. Try to get the ball rolling as much as you can. Pretty much Joy will consistently go and approach you, and she is very difficult to try to get throw on. She never accepts getting a throw, and she also does that teleporting paint can stuff usually. So be on the lookout. But yeah, for some odd reason, this was the toughest time I've had with Joy since then. She would always somehow be able to string a combo when usually she doesn't. But I guess it's just the inconsistency of her AI, but this time she kind of was rolling me for a little bit. Or in this case, making the battle close and stuff. I still managed to beat her without taking too long compared to Sampong and Kim during the first attempt, but yeah, be on the lookout for Joy as well.
Don't blink now.
Comes Gerard Golby, and Gerard Golby is our last fight of the tournament. And yeah, unfortunately, for disappointingly, Gerard Golby is the second easiest fight in here. Gerard Golby, pretty much his big gimmick is that he does a lot of drive impacts, which are reactable, yet somehow I was not very good at reacting. I'm just not very good at reacting to drive impacts, which sucks because I'm a lot better at using reaction in my Smash play style. Anyways, pretty much, that is his main kind of thing. He uses drive impacts and he uses charge moves, but because he has no style and whatnot, so he follows no master, he is definitely one of the easier ones since he will consistently either charge up a shoulder tackle, or he's just gonna drive impact, do some normal NPC combo strings, all that business. He also doesn't block much either, he just really relies on that drive impact. So yeah, Gerard Golby is unfortunately a disappointing finish due to how easy he is. After fighting the most difficult fights in the game, well, some of the most difficult fights in the game, we are now coming across another foe, the cardboard combatant and part of another gang. Probably now Shadowloo and whatnot, considering that he's got that psycho power. But we're unsure because he doesn't take up the fight, interesting enough. He kind of just walks away after meeting us. So, yeah, we win the tournament anyways, and we go off to see whatever we need to do next, since now we can fight in the Saval Hall tournament. The fan asks to talk to us, and she has got more of the card decryption, which seems like she's nearly done. Pretty much, the dirty card has contained plans for the Nashar resistance, so likelihood that whoever Asterisk is, they were talking to us about getting Bosch, and so pretty much the Nashar resistance has planned to get the prelim tournaments cancelled, and also putting in their own squad and pretty much winning the tournaments there. That's why Revancha wanted to defeat me in my journey to pretty much prevent me from doing what I wanted to do. And so now we're, well, tangled in this mess. Here comes the servers. These are a new enemy that are like the fridge, but they have a suction power up that is pretty much a command grab, and the best way of fighting them is to jump over them during their suction grab and hit them during their pressure time. You can also hit them around the same point that they're sucking, but be careful that their vacuum cleaner power can eventually beat your move, or pretty much eat your move and still suck you in. This room is awesome. You get a lot of loot in here, and you get both a stamina and a block booster in here with the level 4 card upgrade. So yeah, go ham. We run into our first copy fighters. Pretty much, as you can probably tell from the name, they copy styles, and they use them. They can only really copy master styles. They can't use the NPC style, and these guys are using Ken and Marisa. So yeah, if you have Ken and Marisa style equipped, you will get extra benefits from this fight. But if not, just enjoy beating them down. We begin our second fight with a cardboard combatant, and to be honest, pretty much he is kind of the same thing except for that range orbital attack that he gets new, but he keeps pretty much everything else, including the charge move and whatnot. But yeah, with the orb move, it is pretty slow, and it kind of covers on the entire stage and whatnot. And yeah, you can jump over it, but if you hit it, you get sucked into it anyways and whatnot. But outside of that, he plays the same. This was probably the most difficult I have the second time fighting him, but I would say that the other times it was still doable. Same with this one, and the other two times I kind of bodied him. Otherwise, this was the hardest I ever had on the second fight, but yeah, pretty much enjoy fighting him.
Be enough to make you give up on the tournament. But you've gotten strong, you know?
Alright, so we now have to go and press a red big button to go and control the lift down towards our level where we can go and grab the next chest and the next item. Pretty much I had to go through waves of these enemies, but they are not too bad. We fight our next set of copy fighters, which are a Blanca and a Chun-Li, and they're both kinda, yeah, they don't approach as much as you can tell. I have to approach them instead, but I get punished if I hit their shields up. So yeah, kinda stuck between here, but comparatively I still am able to knock them down. But oh god, I'm getting comboed right there too. Oh my gosh, luckily I managed to prevail with that freaking tornado move.
All right.
I then fight the Blanca-chan to go and get the last part, being a gold medal. This was the easiest time I had a Blanca-chan. I don't know how, I was just kind of rolling him for a bit. I unfortunately was not recording the first round, but yeah, I did a lot of cool stuff. But of course, I managed to land the stage 3/stage Super 3 or Super 3 art and get a lot of damage off. I did really well against Blanca. He didn't really throw a lot of his dolls until now. That was like the first doll he threw, and pretty much he was consistently running back just to try to see if I would approach, but he wouldn't do much of a spin tactic move nor approach as much. So yeah, I kind of rolled him during this time. It will be the first time. It probably won't be the last time, but I maybe can consistently get this guy in future endeavors. Before I continue on, I go ahead to fight Retsu to get my kick booster. This is the last step of the Retsu questline, and the kick booster would be useful since Kami has a lot of kick moves that do a lot. Pretty much she's balanced around punch and kick, so this will help out a lot.
Now then.
Now we reach with Kalima and Rawansha. They have set a plan to go and bomb JP. Just get him killed in a bombing. Bosch is the one taking directive to get this bomb by winning the Savalhall tournament. Pretty much, this will, blow up JP, including Bosch himself, and help the resistance go ahead. Of course, however, our character is pissed at the idea, and now she plans to fight Verwancha and also go to, well, defuse the bomb before anyone gets hurt. Verwancha is a lot more powerful. He has pretty much his charge move now breaks through, or I'm pretty sure what it does is that it breaks through your shield or just still damages you while you're blocking, no matter what. He's also much more, stronger now. He still packs a punch. Even when I have a lot of health, he's packing a ton. So, yeah. I am still able to beat Rawancha because he just doesn't choose to block at all. Like, there are times, yeah, he's blocking, but not frequently. He's just consistently letting me punch on him every time. But it's also because his punch is heli telegraphed. And yeah, I'm able to punish him for that. You freaking stupid person. Anyways, I beat Rawancha, and now it's time to go try to defuse the bomb. So we go ahead to find the championship belt. Let's do it. Let's go defuse the bomb. And oh gosh, someone is freaking going come behind us. I think that was gibberish, but they look like they have that same psycho power. Oh my gosh, that's a claw. Who is following us? Who is doing this? Please stand out. Oh gosh, it's JP. It's Johan Prochovic. It's him. He is the guy that Kalima has told us to worry about. She telling you the person not to worry about, and that's him, is Johan Prochovic. So yeah, he's the guy who's gonna give us the championship belt, and yeah, or at least the winner of the championship belt. We might not even win this, so yeah, there he is. Time for the tournament. The final tournament, the Savalhall tournament. It is time for us to battle. So I had to make a big note and whatnot. Between this point and us meeting JP for the first time, I did go back to go and do some more kind of grinding. Not too much, but I'm definitely above levels for a bit. Not enough for the final fight. I'm still under level for the final fight, but I pretty much am jacked up on steroids and clothing stats just because me going in Blanca-chan's suit at level 51 would have gotten me killed. So yeah, enjoy while we can. The first fight is against Boris Gagarin. He's a Zangief, so you can imagine how annoying this is going to be. Well, yes, Boris was definitely one of the two most difficult for me here on this attempt. However, I definitely wouldn't say he is the most difficult of the 6 fights that you have to go through. Pretty much, Boris will consistently go for them grabs, and he's the hardest to throw, or grab at least. He just consistently throw escapes, and he also pretty much has a better throw. And yeah, because he's Zangief, he's a big grappler. He in fact gets a down low kick to a grab, which I didn't know how to get out of. So yeah, that was the biggest difficulty I was running into. However, DJ provided me well here. I was getting better at using the charge, albeit I would usually just walk back and use it. But yeah, it would go pretty well in my favor. I do not know how I won the first round, but it went well for me. Pretty much best thing I can say is kind of play a little far away because he's consistently going for those grabs, and pretty much you can outrange him, but he will block a lot of the time. But yeah, I should have gone grabbed by that, but I ended up living. Whew. Yeah, Boris definitely proved some problems this run, but I still managed to defeat him without using any item and on classic controls. Next fight is against Carmela. She is the zoning camper person that will use her driving or reversal and whatnot. Yeah, she's irritating as hell. She's the easiest one. particularly. She uses it way too much, and you can feel free to block all the time, because she will just waste it. But she is ridiculously annoying, so be on the lookout. She anti-airs like a bitch, she runs away, so grab walking is difficult, and yeah, she's just consistently running, putting down projectiles, doing whatever she can to prevent you from doing anything. Loose style works pretty well here because I could get up in her face and just punch her, and she would just struggle because I'm Luke style. I can just punch, bro. Well, you cannot run away. So yeah, particularly like I said, she's the easiest one, but she's definitely the most irritating one. Alright, coming up next is Gora Nidai. Gora Nidai is arguably the hardest one here. He is he's an E-Honda style, but effectively he uses very much that headbutt that is so hard to punish. You can block it, but it's so difficult to punish. Best thing is to pretty much use your drive impact if you can react to it in time. And he also drive impacts himself. Effectively, if you're able to drive impact his drive impact, that's just good reaction on you. You're able to know where to punish him of sorts. I think it's also hard to get him in a grab walk because he throws escapes a lot. And yeah, he'll also drive escape, or drive reversal, he'll do all the mad tricks and stuff. So this was the guy I was worried about. Pretty much drive impacts are the best bet here because they can because he tends to attack a lot when you're trying to fight back. Of course, he'll also do the same in the footsies game, try to see an opening on your end. But pretty much this guy has kind of all the tricks, you know. He's what I would consider the wall of Saval Hall. He's a difficult menace in here, but probably the best I've ever played against this guy. Like, I was really happy to do well. I didn't think I would. I feel like he would be my kind of like my breaking point here, but I prevailed. I pulled off all the things I could. I tried to doing the drive rushes, the drive impacts more often. You know, I really need to try doing those drive rushes more because they help out a lot getting to the other side of the stage. My classic controls here were at point. I was freaking stringing my normals with my specials, and effectively I had a really good time pulling up the drive impacts in the best spots here, or during the best times whenever you would just decide to attack. I still got hit by that sumo headbutt thing, but I made it all work when I was able to pull this off. Of course, going into freaking burnout state is a bit of a bum because that's how you know you're using too much and whatnot. You're trying to do too much, you're overextending. But this helped out a lot when I was just keeping on point. I was effectively doing everything I could to make sure to clobber this guy before he makes me just annoyed, angry, just all the sorts. This guy is the most difficult one, or probably arguably the most difficult one. He is tied for another fighter, but yeah, there we go. Get out of here, Gora. Next up is Lima Bien. Lima Bien pretty much plays like Carmela. He plays kind of spacious away, but he doesn't really have projectiles. He just plays more a passive offensive style. Of course, pretty much he has that teleportation with the knife blade. You're gonna have to look out for that because that pretty much means he's gonna mix your defense option or your pretty much blocking option most of the time. Pretty much, kind of just play like how you played Carmela and stuff. I did well here. But I mean, it's Lima Bien. He's the second easiest one. Easier than Carmela, or not easier than Carmela, because he just kind of mixes up and stuff. But definitely not that difficult. I would say this is a big breather after the Gora fight if you have struggled with Gora. Bosch is somewhat pissed because we are about to fight him towards the finals. We're pretty much his biggest problem or threat in this competition outside of JP supposedly, and he needs to defeat us, but in order to get to JP, well, as I mentioned, he needs to defeat us. But we're his biggest problem. His body is pretty much being mortified and he doesn't want to see us pretty much fight him towards his state where he can't even know that we're fighting him. Pretty much he is struggling with this, but you know, we grab his hand, you know. Take comfort in this. We're gonna try to prevent what he's trying to do so that we can go and stop JP ourselves, preventing him from sacrificing his life and hopefully for him to gain better with his treatment, hopefully, if there's a treatment for his psycho power. But yeah, it's down to me or Bosch. Who will win? It is time for Bosch. Bosch is the 5th and final fight of the tournament. Pretty much Bosch has a new trick up his sleeve and he is going to pull it out a lot. He has all the same stuff, but this particular trick is when he initiates his super. Obviously, compared to pretty much anyone else that is not a master, they don't have super arts. He on the other hand does. And it's going to be really difficult to dodge pretty much. If this is your first time playing World Tour and whatnot, you're gonna struggle against Bosch. Pretty much, you don't even have to beat Bosch. Pretty much he's not required to beat. It's just pretty much if you want to have the satisfactory part, or if you want to pretty much say that, oh, I want to beat Bosch and stuff. So pretty much, I beat Bosch without using items because I think that's how spot I am. And with more of these challenges coming along, so this being the Classic Controls challenge only, I'm not gonna heal for any of the times I fight Bosch during these challenges. That's just kind of like my thing. So if I lose to Bosch, well, I lose. So what was the event in here? Well, you'll just have to see. But I didn't use any items against Bosch. Bosch is really difficult, but he really turns easy after a few times fighting him in this time. Pretty much the open window is that you jump over his first dash, then you block low during the second dash, then you try to time your drive impact. Pretty much you time your drive impact when he's going to hit you down on your low defense, which he will pummel you to the ground, and then you punish him for that with that drive impact. So pretty much you block all sorts of damage, and yeah, you get away with it and you can get a big punish. That's pretty much kind of the thing. It's going to be difficult because Bosch kind of just runs away just so he can pull the super art. And he's consistently going to get it back because of these attacks, and especially with a drive impact hitting, it's difficult. He strings that drive impact with his super, and yeah, pretty much as long as he has one bar of these, he's always going to use it. So be on the lookout. You just have to consistently get down this rhythm because he kind of plays a rhythm game. Jump, block low, time to drive impact, profit. And if you miss one of those, you're getting hit. You're just gonna get hit. That's pretty much what's gonna happen. So yeah, that's pretty much the best thing I can say for Bosch. He is an enjoyable fight. He definitely would be the most difficult if I still struggle with him, but I now look at this and it's like, well, it's a lot more doable than what I think. And yeah, that's pretty much the case. It's just a lot more doable. So, yeah, Bosch is definitely not the easiest person though. He's probably tied alongside Boris. It's kind of in between for either one of him or Boris, but I still think Gora is harder, and the final fight, I think, is, after times of playing through this World Tour mode, I think the final fight is probably the hardest one in here. And now the Saval Martial Arts Tournament is done. We're about to get presented our nice championship belt after beating Bosch thanks to the Mango Tango playing. I don't know about you guys, but suddenly Mango Tango was playing when I was playing through the Street Fighter game, so like, I'm just like, I'm getting the vibes, you know. It's like, wow, I'm suddenly getting charged up, you know, like I can beat everyone. There's Lima, there's me, there's Bosch, you know, but it's all about me and this championship belt, you know. JP is going to present it to us. Depending on how things will go, if that thing explodes on me, I guess my character will die, but hey, maybe it'll kill JP for the resistance. Maybe I can take the hits instead of poor Bosch. Maybe that would do us some good. This is not what I expected. I guess you was gonna pass me the bomb. Well, hey, maybe like JP doesn't know that the bomb's there, like, it's just gonna pass it to me, and then, you know, as long as I don't press that button, you know, there's a, oh god, he knows.
Go on.
Alright, Mr. Fuckface, you killed, my friend? I didn't even know him for a while. Like, I just, okay, what's the worst thing? Probably him handling the bomb to the child. He was willing to get that child killed. That's probably worse. Okay, you hand a bomb to a child. Alright. Well, now you're gonna pay, you know. You're gonna pay. You're gonna take these hits, you know. These beatings, this. Okay, yeah, JP's the final fight of the game, and he is the hardest fight of the 6 fights you have here. Here we are, the final fight of the game, JP, Johan Petrovic. JP's kind of crazy. Pretty much, reason why I think, like, with time has come within me fighting the World Tour, this one being my 3rd completed run, the Classic Controls run. Yes, I did complete this run. I wouldn't give up here, not now, against JP of all people. But I am willing to not, you know, use items. So if I did fail here, I would use my continues instead. But I wouldn't afford using items. I wouldn't like best him without needing that. So, JP. Albeit the first round is a lot more tame than later down this fight. He does all these kind of like cool schmixes and stuff, but he's very open to you just punching him in the face and stuff. Of course, though, when we get into the second part of the fight, it's a lot harder. You kind of have to fight him just with your bare hands, unless if you do want to like spam your moves, but you would have an easier time doing that on Modern than you would on Classic, so cutting that off. Grab locks I never really bother to, because I'm pretty sure he gets out of grab locks by jumping. He responds to that well. Like, you can like hit him, grab him 3 times in a row, and then he's like, oh, I have a jump button, I'm gonna jump over you, and now you're gonna get punished for trying to fucking exploit me. So yeah, that's pretty much the vibe with JP. And of course, you know, with that and all, he now starts zoning you. So yeah, that's why the second and third bit. So the second round and the third round, if you lose the first or second one, he's ridiculous. He kind of starts just pulling out all the stops, and he's a lot harder to hit now because he's effectively blocking more. This is the total shtick with him. Block like the madman he is, but also I'm going to start playing like a pro player all of a sudden, and I'm going to start zoning your ass, which is why I feel like even then projectile spamming only works the first round. He just does everything. I know a lot of people, or I've seen on Reddit that a lot of people particularly do the same, but part of me just doesn't believe that. Why is he suddenly doing all these cool tricks even when I'm not trying to projectile spam? But apparently when you do try to projectile spam, he just doesn't projectile. He has zoning options, which is why I don't think that's necessarily true. I feel like he probably is just really lucky and that the AI was being inconsistent. But yeah, he takes me down the second round, so how will this third round go? Well, the music starts amping up, and oh man, does everything become wild. He is crazy still, kind of like the second one, but he adds a bit more fuego to it. By the way, he will use his 3 super art. He did it to me, and he's also level 58. Only reason I was able to stand point was that I was using my stats and I got a lot more better clothing. But yeah, he like fucked me up. He hit me with that fucking level 3 super. I was like, wow, okay. But he is a master after all, and yeah, he does not give a fuck. Pretty much, as I mentioned, I think this is the hardest fight of the 6. It may just be the fact that I did really well in Gora during this run, but like, oh my gosh, I have never seen JP kick my ass this hard till now. Like, sure, it might just be my level, but even then, I have all the stat points. He is still bodying me at points of command, you know? Just like, whenever I'm messing up, he's like, oh, I'm gonna combo 5 moves into you, because I know you're playing sloppy there. So yeah, it's pretty much just a fight between me and JP on who can deliver the most potential combos, and that is how it makes this fight so entertaining. A really good send-off to an otherwise pretty good mode, but I will say that my thoughts regarding World Tour will come at another time, so enjoy the rest of the fight. JP has been defeated. We beat him in a fight, so yeah, my class controls run here is done. If you want to know what happens, pretty much JP declares that all of this was for nothing because our friend Bosch is dead now. The resistance failed to beat him, and he's gonna be able to get away with this pretty easily. We're only one person, so our trip here is done. You can go to him to go and see if you want him as your master. Pretty much for this run, I mean, I'm done now. I beat what I wanted to, and I learned a lot. I really did dig classic controls. I think it's nice. I'm gonna try to practice it more. There are a lot of things that modern does that just feels nice with me, but that's because I'm a new Street Fighter player. I beat this game, or this game's World Tour, twice with modern controls, so this being my first time playing it, I learned quite a bit. I thought it would take me a while to adapt to the process, but you know, it didn't take too bad, because I practiced a lot of the Hotto Pizza. I wasn't great at it, but it helped me at least get the rhythm, the muscle memory, just to work with World Tour and classic controls. There's a lot of things here that pretty much is why classic controls isn't as good as modern World Tour. And that's kind of the sad problem with World Tour, is that it is made for modern controls, and because of that, you just lose out on a lot. So yeah, I really did enjoy my time. Obviously, if I ever do a 100% challenge run, it's likely I'll use modern more, because that's how you have to get all the side quests done, is with modern. But I'll try to do much what I can with classic. I'll try to stick classic with like practicing online with other people and stuff, just to get the rhythm. And I'll try to use it more in World Tour. Of course, it's not, you know, permanent. Modern controls, like I said, is more beneficial in World Tour than it is to play in classic. But it's whatever the person prefers to what they want to use for this game. Whether modern or classic, it is your choice, and I really enjoy my time using either. So, what's next for Street Fighter 6? What is going on? Definitely more challenges are potential. Potential challenges are gonna come up. The next one will probably be a lot more, you know, simple and chill compared to Classic Controls. I mean, Classic Controls even in is pretty simple. I'm just having to beat the game with Classic Controls, which this was the run, and that's what we did. Would it likely be another one like using Classic Controls? Nope. Unless if this video were to end up getting hit with something and I would have to delete it, probably. But other than that, yeah. Likelihood is that what's going to happen is that there will be a World Tour review that I have planned. I haven't worked on it at all because it's probably going to have to be like scripted, or I'm just going to have to like read off and stuff and then edit it, which in general will be a lot easier to edit than this. But yeah, that's probably the next thing. In terms of other things, Tales of Berseria, I'm kind of going through that process with it. But I should be able to put videos back on. I've been working on this video for a long time now, kind of like the Dawn Upper 3 video. And yeah, well, that'll be it. That's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for coming by on this lovely day, in this lovely bunker. Peace, peeps.